Hey, it's Dr. Micah Richardson from Cypress Creek Chiropractic, and I'm with my lovely wife, Mitzi, our nutritional and wellness coach here. And we're coming up on our last video for the month for Heart Month. And we want to finish this series with what we call the silent killer. What is that silent killer? Well, 33% of Americans have it. High blood pressure. I know a lot of people go to the doctor and they think, well, it's high only because I've got the white coat syndrome. Well, that may be the case, but if that's something consistently happen, what you need to do is make sure you're either going to the store at the Publix or some of the Walgreens and get your blood pressure checked, or get a home unit and check it. So you need to be checking that consistently if you think you've been at risk or you're consistently seeing that you have the high blood pressure. So we want you to be aware of that. But talk a little bit about what we're looking for with the normal ranges here.
So your normal range should be the systolic about 120 over 80, that's the diastolic. Pre-hypertension is when you're starting to have readings of 130 or higher, and then actual high blood pressure or hypertension is anything above 140 over 90. So the systolic number is that when the force or the push of the heart. The diastolic is that rest period. So just so you understand what those numbers mean.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So what are the causes of some of the increased blood pressure? Well, one is stress. We're going to talk about breathing here in a minute, but stress is a big contributing factor. Also, your salt intake. You got to be very aware. You don't want to do more than 2,400 milligrams a day. So you really got to start looking at some of the labels on your foods and things like that, because your salt intake may be higher than what you're realizing. So that is definitely something you want to be aware of when you are eating and when you're buying food and looking at things. And very careful with processed foods. Those have a lot of things in there. She'll talk a little bit more about that in nutrition probably, but also what we call subluxation. Subluxation is a contributing factor. And how that works is the nervous system controls and coordinates everything. So anytime there's a breakdown in communication with this system, it can affect how hard your system is working, which can increase your blood pressure. And there's also direct nerve correlation to the heart, to the lungs, and every part of your body. And I'll let you talk about the next two here, diet and weight.
Yes, so two other contributing factors are your diet. The biggest contributing factor they're finding now through research is actually insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is when the body is producing a high amount of insulin, but it's not being accepted by the cells. So we're seeing that in our blood work more and more with our clients. Your insulin should not be really above over 10 to 15. That's high. It should be optimally between 2 to 5. I'm seeing clients recently with insulin rates as high as 60 to 80. That's really, really high. When you're getting that high, you have pre-diabetic to diabetic conditions going on, as well as vascular rigidity. So your veins are getting harder, and that's what's causing your blood pressure to rise. Obesity also is pretty obvious. That's a big contributing factor. If you can lower your weight by about 30 to 40 pounds, you will see your blood pressure numbers come down in as soon as 30 days or less.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge factor. So what do we do about this? Let's give you 3 or 4 little things that you can start to implement or continue to do if you're working toward this. And the first thing is adjustments. And what we mean by adjustments is adjust your lifestyle, but physically, chiropractic, we adjust the spine. And when we adjust the spine, we're removing some of that pressure so the body can function normally. Okay? And where that really works is what we call through your sympathetic and parasympathetic system. Your sympathetic, think about it like this, it's the gas pedal. It's my fight or flight. The parasympathetic is the rest and digest. And you really want to balance between those, and the adjustments help that. When you have that, it reduces the amount of stress on the body. So think about it, less stress, the heart doesn't have to work as hard. Okay, and what a little bit more about the diet. I'll let the diet expert talk about that.
Yeah, the biggest thing with diet is to eat a lot of green leafy vegetables. Potassium is probably one of the biggest things. Potassium has that big balance between your water levels going up and down. So if you're having ankles that are swollen or things like that, then your potassium levels are out of balance. So you need to get those up. Green leafy vegetables help that. Avocados actually are the highest in potassium of anything. Watermelon helps that, bananas. Magnesium, that helps as well. So does CoQ10. That one's huge, as well as omega-3 fatty acids. You can get that through salmon, walnuts, using omega-3 fatty acid supplements, a good quality one.
Yeah.
Those are all good recommendations for that.
And magnesium's one of my favorites. It does over 300 functions in the body. That is such an important one, and we really are depleted a lot with that. So that's a really big one. And then lower stress. You know, obviously lowering stress. You know, my watch tells me to breathe sometimes because it knows that we don't take the time. So here's an easy strategy. Take 5. Take 5. Take some minute time to just breathe, meditate, walk. Take some time just to disengage. Remember that gas pedal brake? Take some time to let off the gas pedal. So definitely do some of that. Anything you want to add?
I think you've covered it.
Perfect. Well, you know, if you find this valuable, you know, or we didn't answer your questions about some of this, feel free, you know, comment below, and we want to make sure we get your questions. If you know someone that can benefit and needs to hear some of this, share it. We would definitely want to get some of that information out there. But I want to share a great book. I'm a book guy. We love, you know, some of these books, but this one's called Discover Wellness. And the title is part of the title is How Staying Healthy Can Make You Rich. One of the first chapters is about cardiovascular disease, blood pressure, and things like that. And it's just shocking to see the numbers. I'm not going to get into that, but there's just some great stats. But just think about that. Discover how you can become healthier so that you can become rich.
Yeah.
Hopefully that entices you to get interested in that. But it's called Discover Wellness.
Well, and I lied when I said I didn't have anything else.
Bring
I
it
have
on.
one more thing. We obviously are big proponents of no medications. However, if you are having blood pressure numbers above 140 and you're not on board with changing these diet and lifestyle and stress reducing things, you need to be on a blood pressure medication.
Exactly.
It is serious. It is the silent killer for a reason. We can help you to get off your blood pressure medications or not to even have to get on one. But you have got to make these diet changes and these lifestyle changes. We can help you with that. If you want help with that, give us a call, or put a comment down there and we can help you with that. But it really is something very, very serious.
Exactly. And like she said, you know, we want to see people less dependent on medications, but there is a time and a place for this. And if you're not addressing some of the root causes, then you need to be on a blood pressure medication is what we're saying. But we want to thank you for hanging out with us this month in February with Heart Things. And if you haven't had a chance to come by and get one of our newsletters, definitely do that. But hope you have a blessed weekend, and we look forward to seeing you next time.